Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're live.
Good evening and welcome, councillors, executive leadership team, community members and council staff to tonight's special council meeting. My name is Councillor Leslie Hewitt and I'm the Mayor of the Hepburn Shire Council. Hepburn Shire acknowledge the Djadja Wurrung as the traditional owners of the land and waters on which we live and work. On these lands, Djara have performed age-old ceremonies of celebration, initiation and renewal. We recognise their resilience through disposition and that their resilience is a testament to their continuing culture and tradition, which is strong and thriving. We also acknowledge the neighbouring traditional owners, the Wurundjeri to our southeast and the Wadda Wurrung to our southwest, and pay our respects to all Aboriginal peoples, their culture and law. We acknowledge their living culture and the unique role that they play in the life of this region. As we're undertaking this meeting virtually, I will read on behalf of my councillor colleagues the councillor's statement of commitment so as to prevent any audio feedback occurring. We, the councillors of Hepburn Shire, declare that we will undertake on every occasion to carry out our duties in the best interests of the community and that our conduct shall maintain the standards of the Code of Good Governance so that we may faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in this council by the people of Hepburn Shire. Due to current restrictions, and hopefully this will change in the near future, tonight's council meeting will be conducted virtually. In the spirit of open, transparent and accountable governance, the meeting is being live streamed on council's Facebook page, and you'll be able to view the proceedings of the meeting, councillor deliberations and voting. The meeting is also being recorded and will be made available on Council's website as soon as practicable after the meeting. Should technology problems be encountered and we're unable to broadcast this meeting, the meeting will be adjourned until resolution or postponed until the live stream can be re-established. And in accordance with Chapter 6, Section 3 of our governance rules, a person, including any representative of the media, must not operate photographic, audio or video recording equipment or any other recording device at council meetings without first obtaining the consent of the chairperson. And I would also like to remind everyone that local government decision making, unlike state and federal government, does not afford the benefit of parliamentary privilege, and hence no protection is offered to councillors and council officers for comments made during meetings which are subsequently challenged in a court of law and determined to be slanderous. As per the ministerial guidelines for virtual meetings, councillors are required to advise individually whether they can see and hear the proceedings and their councillor colleagues. So I'll now confirm to each councillor whether they can be heard. Councillor Bray, I'll start with you. Councillor Bray, can you please confirm that you can hear proceedings and see and hear all of your colleagues?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I can hear proceedings. I can see and hear all of my colleagues.
Thank you, Councillor Bray, and I can confirm that I can see and hear you. Councillor Dryly, can you please confirm that you can hear proceedings and see and hear all of your colleagues?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I can hear proceedings and see and hear all of my colleagues.
Thank you, Councillor Dryly, and I can confirm that I can see and hear you. Councillor Simpson, can you please confirm that you can hear proceedings and see and hear all of your colleagues?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I can see all my colleagues and I can see and hear proceedings.
Thank you, Councillor Simpson, and I can confirm that I can see and hear you. Councillor Henderson, could you please confirm that you can hear proceedings and see and hear all of your colleagues? Councillor Henderson, I think you're muted.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I can confirm that I can both see and hear all of my colleagues and see and hear all of the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson, and I can confirm that I can see and hear you. Councillor Halliday, can you please confirm that you can see and hear proceedings and see and hear all of your colleagues?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can confirm that I can hear proceedings and I can see and hear all of my councillor colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Halliday, and I can confirm that I can see and hear you. Councillor Hood, can you please confirm that you can see and hear proceedings and hear all of your colleagues?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I can confirm that I can see and hear all proceedings and my colleagues.
And I confirm that I can see and hear all of my councillor colleagues. Mr. Thomas, do we have any apologies for tonight's meeting?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Thomas. I would now like to introduce council officers who are present in this council meeting. Mr. Bradley Thomas, our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Andrew Burgess, the Director of Organisational Services, Ms. Lee McCallum, the Director of Community and Development, Mr. Bruce Lucas, the Director of Infrastructure and Delivery, Mr. Chris White, our ICT Manager, and Ms. Kristen Forte, our Manager of People and Governance. Item 4 on the agenda, as required at any other meeting, is conflicts of interest. Councillors must declare a conflict of interest at the start of the meeting and leave the meeting when the item is presented to council, and then return when the item's been resolved. Throughout the meeting, if any councillor realises that they have an interest, they can declare it at that point and follow the same procedure. Councillors, does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare? No. Officers that are present, I now ask whether you have a conflict of interest in any item presented to council tonight. No. Then we'll proceed. Item 5 on the agenda, 5.1, is the adoption of the Community Vision 2021 to 2031 and the Council Plan 2021 to 2025, which includes the Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. And I'm very pleased and proud to be able to present this report tonight. The purpose of this report is to present to you the proposed Hepburn Shire 2021 to 2031 Community Vision and the 2021-2025 Council Plan, which incorporates the Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan, and for adoption. As part of the Council's transition to the Local Government Act 2020, there is a requirement that we prepare and adopt a 10-year community vision and a 4-year council plan. The Community Vision 2021 to 2031, and I'm wondering, do we have a copy that can be screen shared at this point?
I can get that for you, Madam Mayor, just one moment.
Yes, sorry, just technical difficulty at our end.
Okay. Well, we'll have the community vision statement put up, but I can read it anyway. The vision statement is a statement that captures the aspirations of the community for the next 10 years. And it states that Hepburn Shire is an inclusive rural community located in the Djadja Wurrung country where all people are valued, partnerships are fostered, environment is protected, diversity is supported, and innovation embraced. Thank you. The council vision is shaped by 5 key focus areas, which are critical for us to reach the goals set out in the community vision. The 5 key focus areas, in no particular order, are a resilient, sustainable and protected environment, a healthy, supported and empowered community, to embrace our past and plan for the future, to a diverse economy and opportunities, and a dynamic and responsive council. And the council plan is our key strategic document, and it describes the council's plan and community vision for the future and how we'll strive towards achieving that in the remainder of our 4-year term. It'll focus on council's efforts and how we measure our progress in these areas. It's important to note that for the first time, we've integrated our municipal public health and wellbeing plan into the council plan. And that recognises the importance of the health and wellbeing of all our citizens, and that the health and wellbeing impacts on every area of council operation. The Local Government Act 2020 specifies that this must be adopted by, the plan must be adopted by the 31st of October 2021. I'd like to say at this point that the council, both the council vision, community vision and the council plan has been heavily informed by the Hepburn Together community engagement project, which encompassed 4 broad stages. The first was the development of the community engagement policy, the second, broad engagement, the third, deliberative engagement, and the fourth, the municipal public health and wellbeing plan engagement. Just under 10% of our community were involved at some stage in this engagement process, either at the broad engagement phase or as part of our 40-member resident deliberative engagement, or as part of one of the agencies involved in the community municipal public health and wellbeing plan. I'd also like to point out to you, councillors, that the Department of Health is actually satisfied with that we have incorporated the municipal public health and wellbeing plan into the community vision and council plan, and that we have adequately addressed the matters specified in section 26(2) of the Public Health and Wellbeing Act 2008, and have approved an exemption for that to be incorporated into the council plan. I think it's important for you to note that in our request for that exemption, the Deputy Secretary of Public Health, Zoe Weiner, commended council for pursuing the integration of public health and wellbeing goals across council. The plan was made publicly available and open to submissions from the 28th of July 2021 to the 27th of August 2021, and we received 40 submissions representing 53 submitters. Staff and councillors worked to incorporate feedback, and a summary of those proposed changes is contained within the key sections of the report. After this meeting, all submitters will be provided with a written response to their submissions. All feedback received during the public exhibition period has not indeed been lost. It's been included in an ideas bank, and the ideas bank will be linked to a community engagement toolkit along with the detailed engagement summary from the Hepburn Together project. And I have to say that these will be important resources for council officers going forward. Council have had the opportunity to consider the submissions and note some changes to the draft that will be included in the final plan. Adopting the proposed changes outlined provides improvements to the plan content while maintaining the intent and direction of the draft plan that was placed on public exhibition. I'd like to finally acknowledge all those members of the community who participated in the various stages of this plan's preparation. My fellow councillors who've reviewed, who participated in the various community engagement activities, and who have reviewed the plan and the various drafts along the way. For Projectora, the company that we engaged to work on the project, and in particular for our staff, Mr. Andrew Burgess, who led the project, provided leadership, Ms. Danielle Crack, who did a lot of the administration work, Ms. Michelle White, our community development, community engagement officer, who worked very hard, Fran Fogarty and her team for their work on the municipal health and wellbeing plan, and for those other staff members who provided advice as part of the project control group, Mr. Bradley Thomas, our CEO, Bruce Lucas, Bronwyn Southey and Maria Abate. All of these people have worked, community councillors and officers have worked very hard and very diligently to give us a plan that we'll be looking at tonight and looking to adopt that really accurately reflects the aspirations and vision of such a broad part of our community. So I have a recommendation before me that Council 1 acknowledges the community members who provided feedback on the Hepburn Shire Community Vision and Council Plan, incorporating the Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. Notes the feedback received on the 2021 and 2031 Community Vision and the 2021-2025 Council Plan, which also incorporates the Health and Wellbeing Plan. Notes the changes made to the draft and provides a written response to all community members who provided feedback on the Hepburn Shire Council Financial Plan 2021-2031, and adopts and approves the Community Vision 2021 to 2031 and the Council Plan 2021 to 2025, incorporating the Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. I'm in search of a motion. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Dryly as the mover, Councillor Halliday as the seconder. Thank you. And I'm presuming, but perhaps you could acknowledge it, that all my fellow councillors will want to speak to this very important document. Good. So Councillor Dryly, as the mover of the motion, would you like to speak first?
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Juggling screens. Yes, certainly. So I'll just talk about priority 1. Is that what we're doing at the moment?
That would be very good, Councillor
All right.
Dryly. I appreciate it. I just remind you all that you have 3 minutes.
Okay, off I go. Environmental sustainability was the top priority identified by the community at pop-up sessions through our online and in-person surveys and via our deliberative engagement community panel. This focus area has been given the title, A Resilient, Sustainable and Protected Environment. Recurrent key responses when people were asked what they love about the Hepburn Shire and what characteristics are important to its identity were natural environment, strong commitments to sustainability and biodiversity, and mitigating the effects of climate change. In the next 10 years, our community has said it would like us to be leaders in sustainability through initiatives, education, and partners with them, as well as regional and government partners. To get there, you would like us to support actions that support climate change mitigation, biodiversity, sustainability, weed management, strong waste management and recycling projects, net zero emissions, and planning that fosters excellent environmental outcomes. I'm pleased to say that this council plan significantly builds on its predecessor in this area and gives the increased depth of importance and weight to the argument for protecting and encouraging better stewardship and partnership with our environment and ecosystems that our community has called out for. Of course, there will always be things that we could have done differently or better, and no written document can completely encompass and outline all the complexities of living systems, understand the exact risks, and give birth to their full dimension. However, I'm confident this document guides us in a direction that allows us to abundantly explore a vast range of new and existing opportunities, mindful of our limits of our own capacity as a small rural shire. The top 5 priority areas that were identified are captured in the following statements. 1.1, adapt to and mitigate climate change to reach net zero community emissions by 2030. 1.2, prioritise environmental management, protection and regeneration. 1.3, transition to ecological, sustainable and accountable tourism. 1.4, develop meaningful policies and strategic partnerships that link sustainability and public health. 1.5, protect and regenerate the natural resources of the Shire, including soils, water and ecological systems from both current and future threats. To underpin these statements, we have a range of strategic documents and legislation included to draw reference and a series of strategic indicators that will help us measure our progress against this focus area. I don't have time to read out all the strategies, but I will list some of the strategic indicators as follows to demonstrate our targets and trends. an annual reduction in council's corporate emissions measured via tons of CO2. A specific percentage will be developed as part of the forthcoming Sustainable Hepburn Strategy. And a lot of the detail for our sustainable measures will come out of this strategy.
20 seconds, Councillor Dryly.
Thank you. A 10% annual reduction in community emissions and an annual reduction in tonnes of waste to landfill per capita. Lastly, I'd just like to mention the importance that circular economies and waste and resource recovery are given in this document under Focus Area 4, Diverse Economy and Opportunities. Item 4.4 of the priority statements in this area states that we will develop and promote the circular economy to diversify our local economy and support our sustainability goals. We will review waste services to make sure they are in line with the new state government programs, circular economy program, and the details will be developed as part of the Sustainable Hepburn Strategy discussions within our community.
Thank you, Councillor Dryly,
Thank you.
for that succinct succinct comment on sustainability. Councillor Halliday, as the mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to speak to the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan, as I am on the Health and Wellbeing Committee and was part of the working group. So it's great to see the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan incorporated into the council plan. I feel it's elevated this document. It's established collaborative relationships with the rest of the organisation, and it's enabled health and wellbeing to be considered across the whole document. I was lucky to be part of the working group, which is made up of organisations and individuals across the Shire who deliver services in this sector. Fran and her team knew how valuable partnerships and collaboration were, and they've set up a permanent group to ensure the Shire is reaching as many people as they can and are able to collaborate to achieve the best outcomes for our community. So I would like to commend Fran and her team. They're really looking at how we can achieve amazing things in this area, so well done. And I look forward to seeing all the amazing things that they will achieve. The Public Health and Wellbeing Plan has seen a few changes to the priority areas, with the impact of climate change being recognised as having a large impact on our wellbeing. The other change is more of a focus on mental wellbeing. Healthy eating and reduction of violence remain priorities. It's important to note that the plan recognises priority groups who are more vulnerable and need extra support. These include Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, people with disability, young people, early years and children, elderly, the LGBTIQA+ community, and culturally diverse peoples. I'm really proud of the directions and goals of this plan, and I look forward to seeing the exciting projects that come out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Halliday. Does anyone other councillor wish to speak to the motion?
Yes.
Councillor Bray?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to speak to the motion, and I would like to focus on Focus Area 3, embracing our past and planning for the future. What a fantastic opportunity this has been to hear loud and clear what community loves about our Shire, what it doesn't want to lose, and their vision for the future. Livability was the second highest priority in this study. The community valued our natural, beautiful landscapes, historic townships, and the rural character of our area. The preservation of farmland, open spaces, and a calm environment are key elements of their ideal vision, as well as appreciation for our history, including the Dja Dja Wurrung culture and traditions. In response, this plan will protect and enhance the existing character of our towns and rural settings through community-inclusive strategic planning to strengthen planning controls on growth and development. And we're really excited to be able to undertake a range of strategic planning work that is long overdue. And that will include developing and completing town structure plans, an agricultural land use and settlement strategy, land use planning to find commercial and industrial land, a local environmental sustainable design planning policy, and a range of other studies on cultural heritage, mineral springs, and significant landscapes in collaboration with community input. We're pleased to be partnering with the Djadjurrung to hold annual strategic meetings to share and align projects and priorities. Engagement will be a big part of the way we do things as a council and a community going forward. Council want to connect with the knowledge and expertise of the community and bring them on board to advise our projects through reference groups and feedback surveys and other methods. We'll create a database of community skills and keep people informed through regular emails, newsletters, and other media. We'll also encourage community groups to devise their own action projects through community planning. This year, we have a 40-member deliberative panel to help us refine this project. And having a good representation of young people on the deliberative panel has seen youth initiatives come to light. This plan will focus on ways to listen to our young people through a through a youth council and provide leadership opportunities. In partnership with our young people, we'll develop a youth strategy to deliver projects of their design. We'll work with them to address their needs for affordable accommodation, public transport, digital connection, and employment and training opportunities. We support services for youth mental health and ensure our young people are engaged and involved participants in the life of our Shire. Our young people have highlighted the need to take climate change seriously, and this plan tries to tackle this head on. We'll reduce our reliance on vehicles by delivering more walking and cycling paths and trails. Our arts strategy will support local artists to provide creative cultural experiences to enrich community wellbeing. I'm excited about this plan. It's the shared vision of our community, and it will be up to all of us, community, councillors and staff, to work collaboratively to achieve these goals. So let's get started.
Thank you, Councillor Bray. Does any other councillor wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Henderson.
Thank you for the opportunity, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I've been thinking about our council plan, and that's what it is. It's our council, and our council means all of the community, as well as those people who have been chosen by the community to be their representatives, which is us. We've had great support from our staff. And I was thinking about what the plan is, and I'm a creature of the building industry, and I liken it to starting a project, a building project, where we get the architect, we draw out what we think might be right, and we talk to the people who are going to build it, we talk to the people who are going to live in it, and we consult everybody. And we start off maybe with the dream home. And the dream home is that we'd all like everything with bells and whistles. But the boring facts are that we're a shire of 16,000 odd people. We have just short of, and growing, of 1,500 kilometres of roads. We have to collect all the rubbish and waste from those roads and dispose of it. That takes me to the position of who pays for this wonderful dream home. Well, it's our ratepayers, and to an extent, we get grants from the government. So we've been charged, along with our community, of producing a plan that is affordable and viable. We can have the dream, but sometimes we have to cut a bedroom off. I mean, we just can't afford 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. We might have to cut it back to 4 with 2. But that evolves. We can't predict, we haven't got a crystal ball, and we can't predict what will happen in 10 years' time. Who would have predicted that we had a pandemic right in the middle of when we were formulating this plan? Our community have come forth, and I know we quote figures of nearly 10% or 9%, but those are just the people who've come forward. They're the people who've been talking to those others in cafes, in restaurants, in the street, in the libraries. So I would say that this plan has a bigger input because we've given the opportunity to people to speak about it. And the 9% who've responded are not the whole. The whole of the people have had an input and continue to have that. Our plan will evolve. We'll be able to have opportunity that will enable us to do more things in some areas. In other areas, as I said, we may have to cut back a bedroom or two. But the main thing is to set out a blueprint. You can't do anything without a business plan. You can't do anything without some sort of a plan to work to. And we make the changes as opportunity and as finances allow us. I think this is a very responsible plan. To deal with climate change costs money. To deal with roads, rates and rubbish costs money. They're the essential things for our people. I commend this plan to my colleagues, and I think that we'll in the end, we will have a better Shire in 10 years' time than the one we have now. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Does it, oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. Does any other councillor wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Hood.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. My colleagues have very eloquently and enthusiastically described this plan, and it certainly can be accurately described as an ambitious and aspirational plan, but it faithfully captures what the community told us through a very extensive consultation process. I make some observations now from a governance point of view, mindful that the plan is now, or will be, adopted by us, and it's up to us as councillors to deliver on the objectives and targets that are set out in the plan in the remaining 3 years of our term. And of course, we are more than guided by the Local Government Act, which does require us to be financially responsible, make sound evidence-based decisions, and govern for the whole Shire. And given the ambitious nature of the plan, that is particularly important because, as Councillor Henderson noted, we will have to prioritise and make some tough decisions. And we must carry out this plan in a very equitable manner, not only across the wards, but we must also not lose sight of the basics. While the plan is aspirational, we must also never lose sight of the key services and infrastructure that the community expects from us and that they pay their rates for. Given there could be quite a disparity at times between the community's aspirations and council's financial resources and capability, I also note that it's terribly important for council to engage with the community in an ongoing basis and communicate with them and report to them against this plan so that it's clear as to what's being achieved and how. So, like my colleagues, I embrace the plan. It certainly will be very challenging, particularly given the starting point that we find ourselves in as we finish a number of unfinished projects and do some restoration work to council's financial position. So it will be quite a challenging plan, but I look forward to it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hood. Does any other councillor wish to speak to the motion? Does any councillor wish to speak against the motion? Then I'll put the motion as read out, that I read out. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Hood, Councillor Dryeley, Councillor Simpson, Councillor Halliday, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Bray and myself, Councillor Hewitt. So the motion is carried unanimously. And I thank my councillor colleagues for their very detailed descriptions of the benefits of the plans, but also the words of caution and the importance of being true to our community and going back to them and feeding back to them about the progress of this plan. Item 5.2 on the agenda is the adoption of the financial plan 2021 to 2031. And I'd like to introduce Councillor Brian Wood, the Deputy Mayor and who's one of the councillor members on the Audit and Risk Committee to introduce the report. Councillor Hood.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the first time, Council is presenting a 10-year financial plan. It hasn't undertaken such planning for the length of period as 10 years before. This is because it's a new requirement under the Local Government Act, but it's also a financially prudent thing to do, given that as councillors, we're dealing with infrastructure and services that are long-term in nature. And we must always be mindful that we are, at the end of the day, dealing with ratepayers' money, and government grants also represent taxpayers' money. The challenge before us, as set out in this plan, is to stabilise and restore the viability of council. And that is no small task. And as I stated before, we'll take some tough decisions in setting of clear priorities. There are a couple of key assumptions in these financial projections worth noting, and they do constrain us considerably. The main one being rate capping. The plan assumes that we will be able to increase rates by an average of 2% a year. Mindful that we only increased them in the past financial year by 1.5%. That is a factor that is outside our control and set by the state government. Of course, with all financial projections, the devil is in the detail. And a close examination of these projections quantifies and clearly indicates the scale of the challenge before us. Having recorded an underlying deficit in financial year 21, the projection also sets out that we will again incur an adjusted underlying deficit in 22, and then basically after that achieve only a break-even position. The plan does call for an extensive program of capital works, new assets and replacement of existing assets. They average $12 million a year. And the assumption is that we will receive capital grants of about $3 million a year to fund those, the remaining $9 million a year coming from our rates income. That indicates a huge reliance on achieving and securing capital grants. Similarly, a close examination of the projections also indicates that we will continue to have a huge reliance on receiving operating grants from all levels of government. And in fact, over the period of 10 years on these projections, unless we achieve 90% of the projections, we will again be recording deficits. And that is not what local government is in the business for. The final point showing through very clearly in these projections is that our unrestricted cash levels are particularly tight. Unrestricted cash being that cash that we have the discretion to spend on services and projects that we wish to undertake. So, Madam Mayor, I will observe that these are a sobering set of numbers, and they do indicate the significance of the task before us, particularly as we come out of the COVID pandemic and the multi-million-dollar storm event that we've just incurred. So they set key challenges for this group of councillors. And again, in the context of the ambitious plan that we just adopted, I'm looking forward to the challenge. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hood. So we have an officer's recommendation that Council 1 acknowledges the community members who provided feedback on the Hepburn Shire Council Financial Plan 2021 to 2031. 2, notes the feedback on the Hepburn Shire Council Financial Plan 2021 to 2031. 3, provides a written response to all those community members who provided feedback on the financial plan and requested a written response. 4, adopts the Hepburn Shire Council Financial Plan 2021 to 2031. And 5, notes that the adopted Hepburn Shire Council Financial Plan 2021 to 2031 will be published on Council's website. I'm in search of a motion. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Henderson, moved Councillor Henderson, seconded Councillor Hood. Do any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Simpson. Oh, yeah, thank you. Any councillors wish to speak against the motion? In which case, Councillor Henderson, as the mover of the motion, do you wish to speak to it?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Hood has painted a fairly accurate, a very accurate picture of our finances. And we won't know what happens with those finances into the future, but with the global economic position and position of Australia at the moment, we can certainly predict that we need to be careful in the way we open our purse strings and our wallet. We need to be very careful that what we do is well planned and does fit with what our community want. It is aspirational, our plan, and our plan is underpinned by this financial statement. So we have a financial plan. We may have to vary from that, but hopefully it is a plan that we can stick with. It's a plan that will see the future of this shire. I mean, I look around the room here and we may come and we may go. I've seen a few councillors come and go over the period of time and had various views. And none of us are necessarily here, and certainly none of us are here forever, but some of us are here for longer than others. So we need to make the most of it. We need to leave a legacy, I believe, for any future councillors and any future community. The community does change too. So we need to be mindful, but not frightened of the fact. I mean, it's a bleak picture that our finances show, but it can be bleak, but it also can be a wake-up call for us to say we need to be very, very careful with the money that we have. After all, it's the ratepayers' money and taxpayers' money. It's none of our own. And the contribution we make is what we can bring to manage those funds properly and to service our community. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Councillor Hood.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yes, look, I will make the observation that on these two items before us tonight, that on the one hand, we do have a very good aspirational plan to deliver, but at the same time, simultaneously, we are restabilising and rectifying council's financial position, which with only a population of only 16,000, we are a small council. We are constrained by rate capping. So it's really incumbent on us to make smart evidence-based decisions and set the priorities, follow the plan. And while the set of numbers I described as sobering, it certainly is not mission impossible. We can, through making the right responsible decisions, achieve both the objectives in the plan and also improve our financial outlook. It won't be easy, but it's certainly achievable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hood. Councillor Simpson.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank the 21 people or the 21 surveys that responded to this draft financial plan. A summary of the responses is contained within the key issues section of this report. All feedback received during the public exhibition period has been included in an ideas bank. The ideas bank will be linked to a community engagement toolkit, and these survey responses will be an important resource for council officers to consider going forward. Thank you again, and your feedback is very valuable.
Thank you, Councillor Simpson. Does any other councillor wish to speak to the motion? Any councillor wish to speak against the motion? Then I'll put the motion as previously read by me. All those in favour, raise your hand. Councillor Halliday, Councillor Simpson, Councillor Dryly, Councillor Hood, Councillor Bray, and Councillor Henderson, and myself, Councillor Hewitt. The motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. There being no other items on the agenda, just before I close the meeting, for those who are watching it, you will be able to find a copy of both the council plan and the 10-year council financial plan on the council's website. I'd urge you to have a look at that if you're interested in what we're planning to do, and if you're interested in how we're going to be able to do that with our current financial position. I'd just like to conclude the meeting with once again thanking my fellow councillors, thanking all those community members who participated, and thanking the staff for all their work on this project. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 6:48. Thank you.